home he built with his own hands. What would you do if you had nowhere to go? No warm room, no comfortable bed, no door you could close at night and feel safe behind. For most of us, home is something we never have to think about. But for this young man, a home had to be built, one piece at a time. And he didn't have expensive tools. He didn't have a crew of workers. He didn't even have the comfort of knowing how long this place would last. He only had the forest, his own hands, and a reason to keep going. He started by digging into the hard ground. Every shovel of dirt was another reminder that this wasn't going to be easy. The deeper he went, the more exhausting it became. But he kept digging, because when you have very little, sometimes you learn to build everything from what the world gives you. Then he began shaping the walls. He worked with the earth around him, carefully turning the rough ground into something that could become shelter. There was no luxury here. No fancy furniture. No electricity. No beautiful walls covered in paint. Just mud, bamboo, and a young man who refused to give up. Then came the bamboo. Piece after piece, he carried it into place. He measured it, cut it, lifted it, and tied it together with his own hands. Slowly, something began to appear. What had looked like nothing but an empty patch of forest was becoming a small home. And maybe that is the most beautiful part of this story. He wasn't trying to build a mansion. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. He was simply trying to create a place he could call his own. A place where he could sit down after a long day. A place where he could sleep without wondering where tomorrow would find him. The walls became stronger. The bamboo structure grew taller. And with every piece he added, the empty ground began to feel a little less empty. Then he reached the roof. Long bamboo poles were placed carefully across the top, one after another, until the roof began to take shape. From the outside, it might look simple. But imagine knowing that every single piece above your head was placed there by you. Every wall, every floor, every beam, every little corner. This wasn't just a shelter. It was the result of patience. The result of exhaustion. And perhaps most importantly, hope. Finally, he stepped inside. There was a small place to sit. A simple little kitchen area. Nothing expensive. Nothing perfect. But it was his. For a moment, you can almost imagine the relief on his face. After all those hours of digging, lifting, cutting, carrying, and building, he finally had somewhere to rest. But there is something about this home that makes the story even more emotional. Look closely at the roof. It may protect him from the sun, but when the heavy rain comes, will it really keep every drop outside? Maybe not. And that's what makes this story so touching, because even after building a home with his own hands, he may still have to listen to the rain falling through the roof. Someone else may be grateful just to have four walls around them. We don't always realize how much we already have, until we see someone building a life with almost nothing. This little home may not be perfect, and it may not look like much to the rest of the world, while most of it may not survive every storm, but to the person who built it, it could mean everything, because sometimes home isn't about how beautiful the walls are. Sometimes home is simply the place where you finally feel you belong. And maybe, one day, he will look back at this little shelter and remember how it all began. There was a time when this was nothing more than an empty piece of land. No walls. No roof. No place to sit. Nothing that could be called home. But he didn't see an empty piece of land. He saw a possibility. He saw a place where he could start again. And that's why he kept working, even when his body was tired and the work became difficult. Every piece of bamboo he carried was another step forward. Every wall he built was a little more protection from the outside world. And every hour he spent working was an investment in a better tomorrow. Maybe this house won't stay the same forever. Maybe someday the walls will become stronger. Maybe the roof will be replaced with something that can keep every drop of rain outside. Maybe one day he'll have a much bigger and more comfortable home. But he will always remember this first one. Because this was the place where he proved something to himself. That even when life gives you very little, You can still build something meaningful with what you have. We sometimes think we need everything before we can begin. More money. Better tools. More resources. Someone to help us. But this young man started with almost nothing. And somehow, piece by piece, he turned almost nothing into something. That's what makes his story so powerful. The house may be small, but the courage behind it is not. And perhaps the next time the rain comes pouring down, he won't look at those drops as a reminder of what his home lacks. Maybe he'll look at them and remember how far he has already come. Because every storm that passes will teach him something. Every leak can be repaired. Every weak wall can be strengthened. And every difficult day can become another chapter in his story. One day, this little shelter may be gone. But the determination that built